One of the aspects of complex number that again shows up very often is when I have a complex number on top of the fraction and is divided, and then again I have a complex number at the bottom of the fraction. How do we solve it? We multiply that. Again, we write a fraction, and on top of the fraction we're going to have a conjugate of the bottom number, the one that is in the denominator, and again the same thing at the bottom of this fraction. So let's replace values with our specific example. So on top of the fraction, we have z1, the first complex number, and that is 4 plus 3i. And on the bottom of the fraction denominator, we have the second complex number, 2 minus I. So 2 minus I. So we're going to be multiplying that by another fraction, and we're going to write the conjugate of that number at the bottom of the fraction denominator. So what do we mean by the conjugate? The real value remains the same, so it will be 2, but the imaginary will change the sign to the opposite. So if I have minus I, I'm going to have in conjugate plus I. So now the only thing that is remaining is for us to do multiplication. Don't forget that this multiplication, we have to multiply everything by everything because that is bracket multiplied by the bracket. Okay, so let's do that. 4 multiplied by 2, that is 8. 4 multiplied by I, that is 4i. Actually, if it helps you, you should draw the arrows like that to make that kind of simple, not to omit anything. And then 3i multiplied by 2. So 3 by 2, that's 6. And we are not forgetting about I. And 3i by I. So when you have 3i multiplied by I, the only thing that you can multiply, kind of multiply or write in abbreviated version is I multiplied by I can be written as I to the power of 2. And straight away we make a note to ourselves that I to the power of 2, we're going to remove that and replace that with minus 1 value. And then the bottom of the fraction. Now, in this case, you're always going to have the same situation when both brackets have the same items. In this case, 2 and I. Oops, that's not what I wanted to write. Let's remove that. So 2 items that are the same. We have 2 and I, 2 and I, and then one bracket has minus and the other one have plus. So when we have this type of situation, we can use a shortcut, and that will always equal to the first number taken to the power of 2 minus the second number taken to the power of 2. So my first number is what? 2. So that will be 2 to the power of 2 minus, and then my second number is I, and that will be taken to the power of 2. And again, I'm taking a note. I'm going to remove that I to the power of 2 and replace it with minus 1. Okay, so let's see what do we have here. We have 8, and then we have 4 and 6i. So together we have 10i, and now we are replacing that I here with minus 1. So therefore 3 will be multiplied by minus 1. At the bottom of the fraction, I have 2 to the power of 2 minus, and again I'm replacing that I to the power of 2 with minus 1. So the only last thing we can do is 8 and 3 multiplied by 1. We put that all in the calculator and we press equal and we get our value, which is 5. Then we have plus 10i, that doesn't change. And then we put everything that we have at the bottom of the fraction into calculator, press equal, and we get 5. Now, when you end up with the fraction, that's not the end. We have to make sure we divide that fraction. So that 5 is the denominator to 5. So I have 5 over 5 plus, and that 5 is as well denominator to 10. And then let's not forget about I. And if we put in our calculator 5 divided by 5, we're going to get 1 plus. And then again, if we put in the calculator 10 divided by 2 or 10 over 2, over 5, sorry, we're going to get 2, and that is 2i. So 1 plus 2i is the final answer. Always remember that we have to divide clearly the real value and then imaginary value in our complex number.